Thank you, Dr. Henry. I was going to try to ask, will you save me having to waste a question on that? With the arrival of the UK and South African variants in BC, I'm not sure how much you can talk about that, but what extra steps are being taken to ensure the safety of schools, especially now as numerous exposures are again being recorded, not just in the Lower Mainland, but in the interior as well?
Yes, and that again reflects the fact that as we have transmission in our community, we see exposure events in schools. But once again, my hat goes off to our educators and people in the schools who are making sure that those measures are in place to make sure we reduce the risk of transmission in schools. So we've had very little transmission in schools. We have, and I will be giving a weekly update on what we call variants of concern now. We have added another acronym to our year of acronyms. So this is VOCs, our variants of concern. We are now up to 7 of the variant that has been associated with the UK, and that's the B1.17, and we have 4 of the variant associated with South Africa. 2 of them are linked, and then we have 3 individual people who, again, most concerning to us, are not associated with travel. And we are continuing an investigation. We have not seen any onward transmission, but the contact tracing is ongoing with all of those cases. And we do have a number of measures that we're doing to try and understand the variants in our community. And part of that is the BC CDC doing the whole genome sequencing and developing some techniques that we can rapidly screen tests, positive tests for the variants. We're doing specific testing in outbreaks, including in younger people and in schools, to make sure that the variants aren't getting into those environments. And so far, we have not had any school-related exposures or any of the outbreaks that we've had in long-term care or in acute care that have been associated with any of the known variants of concern.
Do you have a follow-up, Marcella?
I do. It's regarding addressing some of the mixed messaging that people seem to be hearing when it comes to allowing ski resorts to stay open, knowing that the risk linked to après ski behavior with social gathering, and then movie theaters now forced to operate as sports bars when there's no exposures that have been recorded there. Like, just how do you reconcile that? You have said before that we're trying to reduce social gatherings, but that doesn't seem to be working in places like Whistler.
Yeah, and these are comparing very different things. I think we need to be cautious about saying there was no transmission in any specific venue. There have been specific places that have not had transmission, but we have seen transmission and exposures in a variety of venues, and it's the events that we have seen those in that we have put the closures in under the public health orders, and that includes cinemas and movie theaters and theaters. So you will know as well that we have some very strict protocols, including reduced hours, spacing, barriers, mask wearing. People must sit at a table. You have to have you can't have movies playing, for example, or things that are at a high level. And we are increasing our inspection of those areas. Yes, it is a challenge because we are trying to keep those small businesses open as much as we can, and restaurants and bars are a good example where they provide food, where they cannot have events, where they have to have restrictions on numbers, etc., and where we are seeing people flaunting those rules. It is the challenge that we're seeing, and Whistler is a good example. There's been at least 6 premises that have been closed or had orders issued on them because of people not obeying the rules in those environments. It is trying to find that balance. The risk is not on the ski hill, and we know that for many local people, going to their local ski hill is an important way of getting away with your family, with your household, and having some physical activity outdoors. We are working with the industry, with all of the industries involved, to come up with a community way of supporting this. I will also say that, we have orders in place from the summer when we saw similar things happening around vacation properties in the interior. And those orders say that you cannot have gatherings in rental properties. And we need to step up our enforcement on some of that. So those are things that we are working with behind the scenes with our different ministries as well as communities around the province. And you will see some more on that in the coming days.